So, Alex was friggin' the fuck out. Clearly. After all, he'd worked at Pacholio's Pizza for almost 2 decades, through 3 owners of the name and an entire army of workers of the shift. What he wasn't doing was screaming. Nah. Instead, when I saw the landing craft start to fully descend, he was very sure this was going to be the end of the world as he knew it. These aliens, foreign nationals, hell, maybe even angels in heaven come on high, would destroy Pacholio's Pizza and ruin his livelihood. Then there was me. Sure, I'd love to say that I stayed stoic and dealt with the entire situation like a man. But nah, being the filthy millennial that I am, well, you know the meme with the poorly 3D modeled image you have of this little fella that's very nearly human, but clearly isn't. The one with panic written on him. You know the meme. Well, I was the fatter version of that. Now, I wasn't screaming either, but I definitely didn't ask Alex permission to leave despite him screaming at me that it wasn't safe and that he'd experienced this before in Ecuador. At least the invasion and explosion bit, but being on maximum dumbass mode and forgetting the most important part of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I ran outside filming the entirety of what was going on. Of course, this involved watching several hundred of what appeared to be single-man aircraft streaming down out of the sky towards the buildings that were around. The screaming of terror of many residents as they ran. And of course, at one point I ended up running too. Well, running is a strong word. Walking with quick purpose away. But hey, I felt it kinda had more drama to say I ran. About half an hour later, though it felt like almost a full day despite it only barely being 9 a.m. I didn't end up very far and came back to Pacholio's Pizza only to find that it was deserted as Alex had fled when I left. I don't really blame him. Kinda wished I'd stepped out at that point too. I found out Alex had left the store keys on the register and taken the entire thing. Which is also understandable. He was keeping the money safe. Namely, because Ed would have had his head if he'd lost the entire still regardless of the people involved. Now, as for the reason I wish I'd stepped out. Well, it turns out when you level an entire invasion fleet, you don't really wait to get your forces on the ground. And so, hearing a tremendous crash and seeing a ship all but drop into the courtyard of the place I was at, yeah, that was a heart-stopping moment. But, of course, curiosity got the better of me, and I just had to take a closer look. Mostly because the ship was clearly not meant to be where it was, but also because it wasn't blowing out the windows. More than they were. Being the enormous Star Trek nerd that I am? Oh yeah, this was doing something for me. Calling me surprised when a sleek purple thing slowly exited a tripod of landing gear and turned its engines off. The spoiling swirl I'd been hearing dying down as the cockpit popped open. Now, I didn't really notice the person as much as I noticed the fact that one of the engines appeared to be smoking. So, deciding not to deal with that and go around and see if the person was alright? What? You expect me to be some gung-ho herder invasion bad type just because I have some weird boner for hating alien space orcs? Nah, you people are nutcases. However, what struck me at first, which was thankfully not a pistol whip, was the fact that the person was humanoid. Now, this is a surprise. I'd always assumed we meet squid aliens. But hey, I'm not knocking on it. The second thing was the fact that this person was big. Now, for context, I'm above average height, at about 5'10". I weigh a lot because I'm fat, or rather, I was fat and have a very stocky, dwarven appearance because I like to grow a beard. The blacksmithing is a hobby. This person, who is about 5 feet away from me, had at least 2.5 feet on me. Which likely led to some surprise when we both freaked right the fuck out. Clearly things are going well at this point. I really wish I'd brought a towel.